What's up, Dub Nation? Back again. We're going to have Sean Grice of Lakers Fast Break on pretty soon. Shout out to Chano Designs for the background here. Not that he did it exclusively for us or anything. I just kind of stole it from his Instagram, but it's one of those few pictures that has all four Hall of Famers that are currently on our roster. Andre being the fifth, even though he said that he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. That was kind of interesting take from him, but yeah, I digress. But that should be mentioned. Iguodala literally said that he's not sure he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and that was recently. Or he alluded to that, not in so many words, but okay, so that's explaining our thumbnail and my background, which is always the thumbnail. And then we're going to go through some topics. You can look at the topics in the description. I type them in as we go, per usual. There's a lot to talk about because check out all the interviews that happened recently, even today. What a day. Huge day for Warriors news. I mean, you got, refresh this, but I mean, you got the WNBA announcement in the morning, and then 16 minutes of behind the scenes action. Dean's waiting on deck. Hold on. Steph, podium, Steve, Klay. Last night, Klay went to Oakland and worked out with Zaza and his sons. I mean, there's just a deluge of content, but we love it. And there hasn't even been a game yet. So there's a lot to talk about. And I think it's going to be cool to have Sean on in a minute. Officially 7:15. Let me check my email to make sure he's coming on board still at the same time. Yeah, looks like it. And so it should be a good night. Dean, are you able to do the background by any chance? We'll get Dean on here in a second. Pretty cool, man. We got 44 concurrents. Wow. Does that portend a here, chat it in here. Here, hold on. Let me get Dean on the private StreamYard chat, that nice little feature that they have that allows us to talk to each other silently. Okay, please splash the like button. So here we go. Please splash the like button. We got 45 concurrents. That's exciting. 14 likes. All right, I guess Dean's going to give that a try. Anyway, some of the topics that I think we want to cover as it pertains to the Lakers. First of all, LeBron is not playing. So he said that in his interview at practice in LA today. If you want to get a little view of that, actually, LeBron did a little showmanship today. It's at the end of the video. I tacked it on the end right here. I didn't do the timestamps on this, but anyway, check this out, man. LeBron had a little fun. First of all, check this out. Klay on his bike. Jason Dumas caught that little video. And then, meanwhile, in LA, LeBron swishes, and then watch this dunk. This is pretty incredible. Boom. You know, that's why anytime people complain about a big man, we're not physical enough, and you know, we the style of play we play, it's like we're not a traditional team. We don't have a LeBron type. Okay, we have Wiggins, but he's rail thin. You know, we're different. We're less athletic than the average team. So we base our team on finesse And we're so lucky to have guys like Draymond, Steph, and Klay, and Looney. And so, I just think the big man thing is sometimes overblown, and we can talk about that as well, because in terms of the big man, I started thinking about it. Big man talk through the context of Wiseman. Why do I bring up Wiseman? Because I had him on our video recently. Where was it? Training camp, that right here got a little hate from people that were, you got to move on from Poole and Wiseman. Bro, JP and Wise, they're family now, like, I mean, if I were to pass Wiseman, if I were to go to Detroit practice, he would be like, yo, what's up, bro? He was the guy that told me to, throw some of the footage you have of me hitting shots. Like tweet that or whatever it was, because it was already on the YouTube channel. But anyway, here was JP with Washington, just in case. I mean, we still love the guy. You can still love a guy even if he's on another team. By the way, hello, casuals. And then he was at a fashion show. And then Wiseman talked about how he just was never healthy with Golden State. So let's bring in Dean, because we're going to bring in Magic on. Sorry. Is that me or you, Dean?
What?
I'm getting feedback, so I had to mute you real quick. You got to turn me down. Okay.
Everything good?
Hold on. Okay. Say a little.
Say little.
Something is.
Hold on.
Something is definitely echoing. That's you, Dean, because I shut off your mic. So anyway, Dean's got to turn me off wherever he's got me on. And then we'll bring in Magic Mike. Sean, thank you, Sean, for being patient on deck. Just want to get Dean on here first and see what's up. So just give him a second. But so we were talking about big man talk through the guise of Wiseman, and I think that it's just perfectly ironic that we have Sean of Lakers Fast Break on, because their team is pretty much a traditional team. If you consider, I mean, modern day traditional in terms of having a 4 and a 5 in this. So it's yeah. I'm getting feedback. Anytime I turn you off, Dean, the feedback goes away. So I don't know what's up with that. Strange. Okay, he's got the headphones on. We'll give it a couple more minutes. Look at all the comments coming in. By the way, Delane, thanks for such a kind comment there that I've got on the screen. WNBA, we got to talk about that. Man, there's so much happened today. Even Lakers wise. Nope. Technical issues down in Long Beach. Let's go through the comments real quick, and then we'll bring on Magic Man. Louise, what's up? Denzel and Delane. Let's see. Blasian's here. And Magic Man. What do you think, Dean? You think I'll get an echo on that? I wonder. I mean, it can't be on my end, right? I've got that silent. And what else? I don't hear myself echoing right now. But you ready for you, Dean? Oh, he froze. It might be an internet issue over there. Okay. Let's get Magic Man. What's up, Magic Man? Sean of Lakers Fast Break.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Rich. It's an honor.
Oh, man. I appreciate you reaching out to me. I was on Lakers Fast Break Pod several days ago, and that was a blast. It was basically a Warrior season preview for them and for me, because I hadn't really done any preview at that time, even though this is like the official one for us. But we got Lakers versus Warriors first preseason game. I want to just dive right into it. But before we do that, actually, why don't you just do a formal introduction of yourself?
Oh, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Let's Go Warriors is a fantastic website. I would recommend that anyone from a casual to a hardcore NBA and Warriors fan check out Let's Go Warriors first as your first and only source for Warriors news, because I feel that Richard Dean just give it straight. The information is always correct. These guys are solid. Rich, when you're doing something like this, you always have to be on point. You always have to be able to be energetic, as well as you know informative but yet entertaining, and you guys deliver both. So I would highly recommend Let's Go Warriors for any fan out there. I come from we're a small little channel compared to Rich's right now, but Lakers Fast Break, small channel that we're growing, but we're cross chatting with all kinds of people, and Rich was so generous to give us some of his time, because it was a great insight into the Warriors, and Rich gave us some inside information that we won't divulge, because Rich has become just a solid source of entertainment, and he's a friend of the channel, and I hope to become a friend of your channel as well, Rich.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a fantastic year. First of all, I love the fact that Lakers Fast Break. You guys have got a couple guys there, and your main guy, last name starts with a G.
Glassford, yeah, Gerald.
Gerald is like a pro. Like, he's done this before. Like, he's probably been on radio before, or TV.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has, sir. Yeah, great
And
instincts
so
on your part.
they are just so generous with their time. Sean was super patient with me because I was out of town last week or a week and a half ago or whatever it was, and so it's been the forming of a pretty cool relationship, especially with the super competitive season that we're about to have. Knock on wood, barring injuries, because that always changes stuff. But we could end up, if not semifinals, but also WCF. I mean, just it's going to be a great season, and we're always keeping an eye on you, and you guys are always keeping a close eye on us as well. So I'm excited about that.
I am too, man. And I just have to say, just off instinct, I think we'll be looking up most of the season, just off a gut instinct. But you're
No,
right. You're right, man. It's a boat race. It's a boat
yeah,
race, because there are four legitimate teams in the West: the Warriors, Lakers, Suns, and Nuggets, who all could make an argument, and for most part, a lot of them are inarguable that they're the rightful contenders to possibly play either the Celtics or the
Bucks.
Bucks in the final, because it looks like it's a two-boat race in that conference. But getting back to the West, Rich, it's going to be a dogfight all year. It just seems that I get the feeling that if you have a 45-win season this year, you can basically call it 50, because as much as it's top heavy, you still got Memphis, you still got the Pelicans, you still got Minnesota, you've still got an OKC Thunder team that we think is
Yep.
going to be a well-oiled machine, a lot better than I think people, even the best prognosticators, are finding out. They're going to always take a couple games here and there, right, Rich? And
Absolutely. Yeah.
and a team like the Jazz and the Mavs, who missed the playoffs last year, I mean, you're talking about 11 teams with a playoff roster. So I would say, if you've got a mid 40 win season this year, you're looking at a really good record.
Yes, mid 40 wins. That's a good take to lead us on this. And okay, let's start there at sort of the more global level. I do agree that the East seems to be like a two-boat race. By the way, when you say boat, we've got Captain Klay, so I don't know if you want to use that analogy.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, let's not do a boat. No,
my bad.
Yeah, I guess we're flipping the script here on Twitter, where we're giving each other too much praise rather than hating on each other or whatever, however they do it over there. But yeah, so anyway, we can talk about Klay mentioned the boat today in his Q&A, of course. But anyways, global level. Well, I don't want to count out the Heat just yet because they just always seem to do something, right? And the Harden situation is still there in Philly. Like, in other words, maybe he goes to Miami. What are you thinking about the Heat and James Harden, by the way? Speaking of the East, well, let's just touch on the East for just a minute.
Yeah, that's interesting, Rich. You can never count them out. They're always in the mix for a superstar. Rich is 100% right about that. It's possible. Given all that's gone on, it's well within the possibility that the Godfather kind of talks to Daryl Morey and says, you've got a real problem on your hands, and I know you think, yeah, you think that, you know what, Rich, you could probably answer this question better than me just based off life experience, but it seems to me that we had a Sixers expert on, and he said the worst thing that could happen for Daryl Morey and the Sixers this year is that they come away from the Harden situation with nothing. That he just kind of play. Do you see them coming away with something? Because I think you're right. I think a team like Miami or a team like the Raptors potentially could say, yeah, okay, we'll take him for 50 games.
As far as coming away with nothing, I just kind of get the sense that GMs in the NBA, they're so good these days. Nobody gets fleeced, really. So they're going to get something. And Portland got quite a haul. Who would have guessed, right? And I would have put Cronin, I don't really know these GMs all that well. I wouldn't have had him in my top half of the league, right? And then suddenly brings in this haul for Damian Lillard, which was not bad in my opinion. So it's like all of these GMs are pretty good. So I figured they'll finagle something, and it's kind of like reached the point where everybody knows that they're kind of in it together, the 30 GMs, so there's kind of like more cooperation, if you will. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Who knows, right? But what were you? What kind of, I don't know, intel did you get from your talk with the Sixers guys?
Yeah, you know what, Rich? The sense is that it felt like that both Doc Rivers and Harden were kind of holding Tyrese Maxey back. Tyrese Maxey is probably one of the best shooters in the NBA at this point in time. He was very discouraged that of the lack of usage rate that he had, considering the fact that in those two games, Rich, against the Celtics, where Embiid and Harden came up short, they could have really used a third guy. I mean, when you look back at some of the great Warriors teams and Lakers teams, Spurs teams, there's always happened to be Bulls. There's always happened to be that third guy that would step up, and they just didn't have it. And it looks as though, although it appears that everything looks hunky dory, with Nick Nurse, you can never tell. Having lived in Toronto and seen, having seen Nurse up close.
Where were you in when you were in Toronto?
Uh
2019?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
cool. I was
Yeah.
there for all the games in Toronto.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool, man. I
Jurassic
probably
Park was incredible. I mean,
Oh,
geez.
it really is. I probably saw you, and now I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
you know?
And another day or so, I'm gonna think I saw Rich by the popcorn stand or
I
something.
know,
Like
right?
I'm really. That's
Yeah.
so cool. But
Yeah,
anyway,
go ahead.
oh, thanks, Rich. But we could talk about that later
I
for
know.
sure. But yeah, with Nurse, it's he will, as you saw, Rich, he will try anything. Box and one,
Yeah.
zone 1-1-1-3, which like high schools run a
Janky.
lot. Yeah,
That's what Cliff calls it, janky defense.
right. So I mean, I don't think this situation would bother Nick all that much. If James stays or if he doesn't, I think it's really incumbent upon them to keep Joel Embiid locked in and
Absolutely.
Dom, right, Rich? Because
Yeah.
the second there's any kind of disarray or chaos, that may be the turning point where Embiid just decides that, yeah, you know what, this has been fun, but I'm gonna
I
go
know.
somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good point. Great point. All right, so we're about to talk Western Conference specifically. I would say just let's go granular with Lakers Warriors. But great insights on the Eastern Conference, and we're so similar in that we literally could talk for days, just about anything that we both have in common. But yeah, keeping Embiid happy is key, and building around Embiid is like that's what you got to do. And if it comes at the expense of Harden, I mean, so be it. You just have to do it because it's so hard to find an MVP guy these days. It's just really hard. All right, granular Lakers Warriors. Okay, I really want to go down the list of your whole team because that's what we do at Let's Go Warriors. We go down the list like we talk about the last two-way player. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, just that's what we do. And I want to know about the Lakers because just on the surface, we talked about this when I was on your podcast a week ago. It's like, dude, you guys have some long, like wingspan dudes. And that sort of, I can sort of see your identity. Even it's an even longer team than last year. And then talk about, Hachimura looks like he's about to burst. We found out today, just watching the news that LeBron, or looking at the Lakers beat writers, LeBron spent a lot of time with Rui during the summer, and that's like, geez, And so we want to go all the way down the roster, but that actually, we'll talk about this soon. That actually got me thinking that, one matchup that I really want to look forward, like more than anything, because we'll get plenty of Steph and CP3 and all of that. Obviously, we'll talk about that, but like my sort of secret dark horse matchup in 2 days is Kuminga versus Hachimura. Like, whoa, what a freaking matchup to look out for in a preseason game where these guys are going to play probably more minutes than CP and Steph and all of the regular guys, Anthony Davis. LeBron's going to rest. But yeah, let's just go down the whole roster. Start with your starting five. Who's going to replace LeBron? And we'll go from there.
Sure. So although Ham hasn't released the starting five yet for the game, Rich, I suspect that it's going to be you're going to have D'Lo at the 1, Austin Reaves at the 2. You're going to have Taurean Prince at the 3. I believe Jared Vanderbilt at the 4, and Anthony Davis at the 5.
Okay, so what can you tell us about Taurean Prince? So that's the one that officially replaces LeBron, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Technically, yeah. Technically, I think the starting 5 ultimately will end up being D'Lo, Austin Reaves, LeBron, Jared Vanderbilt, and AD's going to have to play the 5, Rich. I mean, it's just that simple. In the meantime, we saw that on day 1 of training camp, Ham put Vanderbilt in the starting lineup. So that was kind of portending to what we think is going to look out. He also has Taurean Prince now as LeBron's primary backup. So Taurean Prince, 3-and-D player, or he was known as that. More of a volume 3-point shooter, I would say, Rich, rather than a 3-and-D at this point. We did have Wolves beat writer Chris Hine from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. I asked Chris point blank, what do you see Prince as? Do you see him as primarily a 3 right now or a 4? He said, I see him as a 3 off the bench. So he didn't really see him as a 4. But Rich, we know from last season that yourself and Dean dissected that Darvin Ham loves that 3-guard rotation. To the dismay of a lot of Lakers fans, including myself, but it looks as though Prince may play some minutes at the forwards, just given Ham's predilection for that heavy 3-guard lineup. So I expect to see a heavy rotation of Prince and Rui on the wings come Saturday.
Oh wow! Look, you guys used the biannual exception to get Prince. Interesting.
That's right. Yeah.
Which means you're below the luxury tax. Is that right?
I think yes, just a little bit below that apron.
Nice. Wow. I'm always fascinated by, the salary cap tables. So you're probably thinking, man, you got a starter at least for Saturday who's making 4.5 million. That's getting some bang for the buck there.
Absolutely, and Prince has gone on the record now as saying that he guarantees that he's going to shoot 40% from 3, which is a bold statement even in today's NBA, Rich. But I mean, he's done it once before. His reputation is pretty good. Heavy volume 3-point shooter, takes enough, can make them. It was really weird though, Rich. His best year is probably that 21-22 season that he had with Minnesota. Everybody on that team had like a career year. They were snake bitten by the injury bug last year though. I thought he was thrusted into a role that probably didn't suit him. He was primarily asked to play the other team's best perimeter defender and play a volume 3 game. Didn't had a little bit of a disappointing season. Hopefully, he can just play his normal role with the Lakers off the bench. 6 or 7 3-pointers a game, and maybe he makes 3 or 4 of them.
So there you have it, Warriors fans. Taurean Prince is the Lakers fast break pick to be the starter. And where else would you get that from? I mean, I'll bet you some beat writers for the Warriors don't have the sense for that, but that's why we have you on. And so that'll be a great thing to look at, is Prince versus Wiggins. And I was looking at the BK ref of Taurean to see if he had overlap with Wiggins. Did not overlap with Wiggins. Otherwise, I would have texted Monty Poole to say, hey, ask Wiggins about Taurean Prince. But that didn't happen. But that's still an interesting thing to watch, because now we know that here's a guy who's going into a game thinking he's going to shoot 40% from threes on the year, and Wiggins has to cover him. I almost find it like it's almost better this way, because we learn more about the Lakers than it was with LeBron. It's pretty much a known quantity, and the game doesn't count. So what value do you derive out of this preseason game? And that's why we're here, is to learn about these things, to find out what to look for in this. Otherwise, casual fans aren't even going to turn on the TV past the first quarter. But here, you and I and our respective channels, we are looking at every granular little thing, because it's going to help understand our teams in the long run. All right. So I guess, the elephant in the room as far as outsiders are concerned is Christian Wood. What can you tell us about Christian Wood, how he fits into all of this?
Yeah. So, Rich, in all due respect, eighth team in his 8th year, extenuating. A lot of people have stated that there are extenuating circumstances, each situation. But the main theme is that Woods found a team. They've seen how much talent he has, but then normally what happens is he walks out the door because of free agency or other vicissitudes, and he's never come back through the door. So he needs to find himself a home. And I think what's gone on, Rich, is that given some recent reports by Tim McMahon, and we recently had two great guys on from a YouTube channel called We Talk Mavs, where they were discussing Wood's temperament as a player, and they thought he got a raw deal, so to speak. I'm hoping that defensively he's not a weak point, Rich, because even though everyone does point to two blocks per game. That's normally of help defense. I think it's a better situation here because AD is the anchor, so to speak, and probably one of the best East to West defenders of his generation. Just the way he's able to slide and move laterally. I don't think Wood's going to be an issue offensively, Rich. I think off the bench, and that's where I think his primary role will be as a sixth man. I think he will be able to pick and pop. I think he will be able to be the solid rebounder that the Lakers need, because even in games against the Warriors with Kevon Looney and Jermichael Green, the Lakers found themselves in a rebounding deficit against most nights. I mean, we were just so small. So Wood obviously is a big body that can gobble up some boards the Lakers desperately needed.
Cool stuff. I love how you guys talk to so many other similar, let's call them podcasts across the league. It's super helpful for us. So you talking to We Talk Mavs. That's awesome. Let's go back to the Lakers roster here. And I just, when you were talking, I realized I got to hit up my guy, Mark. Some of the diehards on here know that I'm buddies with this guy, Mark, that I used to play basketball with. And he grew up in the Philippines as a Laker fan, like on a naval base with his dad. And, the ones, everybody followed the NBA and they followed Kobe and the Lakers. So he's a diehard Lakers fan. And aside from you, we get along. We actually get along. And I told him, yo, you got to get on this right now, man. Your guy, Lakers Fast Break, Magic Man's on.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome, Rich. It's funny you brought that up. That's awesome, too, because I remember when I went to paramedic school, there was another student as well named Anthony Lee, and Anthony was from the Philippines as well, but Anthony was a diehard Celtics fan. So I've heard it spread out. And by the way, I gotta say, during the FIBA tournament, I hadn't seen so many Derek White, Austin Reaves, and Jordan Poole jerseys in my entire life in about one section of a country. That was wild.
Yeah. You saw when Anthony Edwards kind of made fun of not made fun of, but it was more of an endearing joke with the Philippines fans saying, Austin Yuhim, and that's just that's the ultimate compliment you can get as a player from fans in Manila. So it was cool to see Reaves. It wasn't cool to see Reaves tear us up in the Western Conference semifinals, but you love the guy, and he's so well respected that it's like I classify him as a couple guys that for the preseason game in 48 hours, we don't really even need to talk about because we already know what he can do. So it's like we're looking at the salary cap table. It's like we're here with Sean. His time is limited. We don't need to talk about LeBron, AD, D'Lo, maybe a little bit on Rui and Austin Reaves. Like all these other guys, even sort of Vando, we don't really need to talk about either because we already know those guys. So it's good to have you on for this. So why don't we just segue? We might later talk about D'Lo and how you're feeling because he played for us as well. But Rui, all right. So Rui spent a lot of time apparently with LeBron this summer. How excited are you about Rui?
Very, very. Rui was sort of an enigma during his tenure with Washington. Rich, he would have 40 great games, but then 40 games where you're just scratching your head. He just seemed to turn it all around with the Lakers. I think the most pivotal moment for his career up until this point, Rich, was when early, I believe it was in March, that the Lakers were playing the Chicago Bulls, and Darvin Ham sat Rui, and he was the only Laker that didn't play in that game. And he just came out hell's on wheels the next game, Rich, and then the next game and the next game, and it just built. It felt like an avalanche with Rui, that this potential was just meeting up with his understanding. Like you felt like the light switch finally came on. Like Rui finally understood potential meeting the moment, and Memphis dared him in that series, Rich, to beat them that first night, and they thought, okay, all right, Rui Hachimura beat us the first game. Let's try it again. So Taylor Jenkins and that staff and the players decided they'd do it again. And what happened, Rich? He did it again, and he did it again. And Taylor Jenkins said, "Okay, around the third game, I just finally figured it out on film that he finally gets it too. So I have to treat him with the ultimate respect now because he could just kill us from three." I'm not sure if he's going to come out guns a-blazing from distance as he did, Rich. That'd be nice, but I think if he hits 35 to 37%, which I believe he's capable of, just the sky's the limit. I love his attitude too. I think that's what that's why he got the contract he got, Rich, because as he was struggling after that Bulls game, he walked up to LeBron and said, "LeBron, what do I need to do to get more minutes on the floor?" And he asked LeBron for suggestions, and LeBron suggested do this, 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 and this. And Rui followed instructions, Rich. He listened to what LeBron and what Darvin Ham were saying, and they obviously coveted the minutes he was on the floor. The two best five-man Laker lineups included either one of Jared Vanderbilt with D'Lo, Austin, and obviously AD and LeBron, or it included Rui. Rui was in four of the top five Lakers five-man lineups in the short amount of time he was in. So I think he's integral, Rich. I actually think even though Vando might start, I think all things evening out, I think Rui is closing out with LeBron and AD.
I want to ask about compare and contrast Rui with Vando. But before we do that, I also wanted to say everything you said about Rui having that pivotal moment, that one game where he sat. I feel like if we can, and let's not forget, Rui is a super vet. How many year veteran is Rui?
I believe that he's heading into his 1, 2, 3, 4. This is his fifth year.
Okay, so Kuminga, third year, right? What if Kuminga sitting out the rest of Sacramento and LA series? What if that was becomes the pivotal moment for Kuminga? Man, sometimes you just kind of need that sort of, reflective moment, the slap in the face.
Yes.
And believe me, they're talking to somebody, talked to JK for sure. So Rui's got LeBron he can talk to, and it was just been a topic the last 2 days, thanks to beat writers doing a story probably on Looney. But and I forget who asked, maybe it was Dalton Johnson of NBC Sports Bay Area asking about Looney all the time. But Looney is also one of those guys that you can go up to. Moody was asked about Looney, and he goes, well, Looney isn't going to be anybody like making a big announcement, but you can definitely go up to him one-on-one, and he'll put his arm around you and give you all the advice. So hopefully it's kind of a similar situation. We're not going to know until we look back in hindsight. So I'm excited about that. Let's move on though. When you mentioned that you feel that Rui is, quote, integral, even though Vando might start. Vando just got this contract that we're going to show you in the back screen, which is 10, 11, 12 million with looks like a player option, 13 million. That's not cheap. And then Rui is at, look at Rui, 15, 17, 18. I had no idea Rui was making that much. Okay, so then my next question is, how do you keep both of these guys for the long term?
Yeah, that's going to be a problem, I think, Rich.
Yeah.
I think in about a year, 2 at the most, I think they're ultimately going to have to make a decision on which one they're going to keep and which one they're either going to send off in a trade or watch leave in free agency. I think the big tipping point, I think, would be if Vando develops any semblance of a 3-point shot, Rich,
Yeah.
and that he can hit it from the corners, he can hit it from above the break in transition. I think his contract becomes exceedingly more valuable.
Yeah. Okay.
However, like you said, I think Rui has um, blossomed, and that contract may look extremely generous in 2 years, depending on his development. So, Rich, I'll answer your question because we don't duck things on the Lakers fast break, and I know Let's Go Warriors doesn't either. So, if I had to pick one right now, I would pick Rui.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'm still hopeful that if Vando develops that shot, he becomes similar to a Jane McDaniels in Minnesota, who's a very valuable perimeter defender as well.
What was Rui's 3-point percentage?
I believe in the playoffs, I believe it was at one point it was above 43%. I think it was.
Jeez.
I think he hit just.
This guy gets on streaks, man.
Yeah, he does. He's very streaky.
And I think that justifies why we see him making 15, 17, 18 million. The league knows that this guy can get hot. And so what you're basically saying is, if Vando can develop that, then all of a sudden you've got a cheap contract. Like you got him on a really good deal. So that's just, it's good to know these things when the casuals are saying, oh, you need to get this guy or that guy. When you know like how much a certain player makes and what he brings to the table, then you're that much more intelligent on all this stuff.
Absolutely, Rich, and you see it with the Warriors as well. It's you have to be able to have a as much of a balanced salary cap sheet as possible. And what I mean by that is you may have a couple of rookies still on their rookie contract. You may have a couple guys with either supermax or near supermax deals. But if you have those 3 or 4 guys that make between 10 and 17 million, there's always an opportunity in this league to flip them and try and get value, because as Rich has said, nobody really gets fleeced anymore in the NBA. That that day of negotiation and contractual back and forth is over.
Yep. Here, let's answer a question right here. Can you answer this? It helps me out too. Lakers let Dennis walk. I don't know if I'd term it that way, but maybe they did. Let us know what you thought about that.
Yeah, you know what? The situation with Dennis was that, unfortunately, with the amount of free agents that the Lakers did have, Rui was restricted. Austin Reaves was entering restricted free agency. They also had to negotiate trying to build around LeBron and AD. They prioritized Rui and Austin ahead of Dennis at this point. They did get Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent is basically the supplanting, and I feel a little bit better defender for the Lakers at
Really?
this point. Yeah, just a little bit, but not
Schroeder
by
is a
much.
dog on
He
defense.
is. Dennis is very pesky defender. There's a reason why Dennis won MVP at the FIBA World Championship, and as Germany lifted up the gold. But absolutely, I think in all world they would have liked to have kept Dennis, but Dennis got a very valuable contract from the Raptors. It was just a little bit more than the Lakers could have afforded.
Let me check that. Yeah, I can't help it. I just got to know these things. Dennis got about 12, 13 million. Gotcha. Gabe got how much?
I think he got 11.
Wow. So if you're getting a better defender for a couple million cheaper, that's pretty cool. I was actually going to ask about Gabe next because he was next on the list. So he'll be okay. Let's touch on D'Lo. So how many what's the first rotation going to look like? And let's assume LeBron's starting.
Right.
For regular season.
So in the first scrimmage practice, Rich, the starters were wearing purple. The reserves were wearing white. The four whites that Ham used was Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, Rui, and Christian Wood. I have a feeling that either Vando or LeBron will come out first. I think it'll be LeBron. I think Rui comes in for either LeBron or Vando as well. So I believe you'd have a front court lineup there of Rui, Prince, and Wood. And then I believe they would rotate in Gabe Vincent as that third guard. My guess is that Gabe plays the point off the bench, and then if he's playing with either D'Lo or Austin, he would be the off guard. I think that Gabe provides versatility, so to speak, in the sense that I really liked what Eric Spoelstra had to say about him. He called Gabe Vincent his shapeshifter in his rotations. He said if I needed Gabe to be a proficient shooter, he was a proficient shooter. If I needed him to drive, he was a driver. If I needed him to facilitate more, he facilitated more. I think he's just the overall chameleon that the Lakers are missing, Rich. We really miss Alex Caruso, man. It's a pining. I've never seen a Laker fan base pine for a player like this before, but Alex really was the chameleon on defense. I think Gabe can be the chameleon that they need offensively, and I think that blends better with a Christian Wood as opposed to a Schroder. But that's just my opinion. I think, like you said, Rob loves length. It's obvious that he just wanted to get longer. Gabe was top 10 in deflections last year from the guard position. So that's extremely important. Guards being my goodness, having Steph and Klay for as long as you've had, it's such a luxury defensively as well because they're so damn long, man. Steph is really deceptive in those passing lanes. So I just think if you can get deflections from the guard position, it's truly, truly important. The Lakers are missing that the past couple years. When Rondo and Caruso were playing in the backcourt, they had that. I think that's what they're looking for, a spark defensively in the backcourt.
Fantastic. Wow. About him being top 10 in deflections, that's sick. And once you mentioned that, everybody who's a Warriors fan on this instantly thought of GP2, right? And now we get GP2 for 82 games, hopefully, knock on wood, right? So these regular season matchups, Lakers Warriors, oh my gosh, they're going to be must see TV like never before. So let's do the fans a favor. Let's get their questions answered. Lakers have 7 road back-to-backs. Do you see LeBron skipping those with his age?
Dean, that's a great question. Yes, I if they could swing it, we know what the NBA's new restrictions about prohibiting certain players who have met certain arbitrary parameters, right, Rich? And
Yeah.
so they're excluded from that. But Dean, great question. I think they're going to try and get away with that in some way, shape, or form. They're going to have to. LeBron is 39 years old. They can't get away with it. I also think that was another reason why they also got Christian Wood to be a spot starter when either, unfortunately, LeBron or AD succumbed to some injury this year, which is I don't wish injury on anybody, Rich, but we know their history as Laker fans. We half expect it. Well, I should say half expect it. It's like 80%.
Jeez, yeah.
But yeah, that's another, I think, important.
That's okay. We're already getting the hamstring comments on CP. He dunked yesterday and today or something like that. Yesterday. So we're getting the hamstring comments. So yeah, we got that concern as well.
Yeah, everybody does. I think it's especially important in this instance because I think in the case of other than the Nuggets and the Lakers, I think the Suns, Warriors, and even I would say Memphis have more depth than those two teams and could be able, I think, to survive a regular season. I think if a major injury happens to either the Lakers or Nuggets, that's going to be huge. It impacts them greatly because I think in the Lakers case, Rich, while we all agree, at least in Lakers land, that the depth looks good, it's more of a ripple effect due to LeBron and AD. If either one of them are out, you may have to ask a player who otherwise isn't comfortable playing a certain role to play that certain role.
Wow, that's some great insights. You were talking earlier, and I was thinking Nuggets as well. I was thinking that when you mentioned Gabe would come in as the third guard, it got me thinking back to when you were saying that it was kind of to Lakers fans' chagrin that Ham would go small, things of that nature. And then it occurred to me that maybe the reason why that was a thing was because you couldn't get past the Nuggets, who played big pretty much all the time. So let's just digress real quick, and actually we'll come back to let's get to the comments real quick. Is AD going to get back to the All-Star game? What do you think?
I think so. Shout out to Blue Magic. I do. I think AD becomes an All-Star this year. I just think he's got a mindset, Rich. His body just looks different. It looks more toned, more muscular than he has in the past. I think that obviously pretends to him playing a lot of the 5, even though he's told everybody and his mother that he doesn't want to play the 5, even though 99% of his minutes last year were at the 5. I think he's just made his peace with that, and I think he will make an All-Star team this year. I honestly, Rich, I really think deep down he wants to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. he really took it personally that Triple J won it, and he tried to give it to him. He gave it to him good a couple of times. A couple of games he played subpar, but I think he really took it personally. Because one thing
Another
about him,
Draymond.
yeah,
Everybody's taking it personally.
yeah,
AJ
yeah,
Like,
100%. And I think that guys like AD and Draymond they understand that how important an efficient offense is, but they care just a little bit more about defense because they both understand that defense wins championships. And I think it's been kind of like a bugaboo for him, Rich. So it wouldn't shock me at all if he like really tried to stay healthy, tried to be a dominant presence on the defensive end, try and win the Defensive Player of the Year award.
all right. So next related question, Judith. Love Judith. She's always so positive on here. So why do you think that AD presents so many problems for us guarding AD, especially versus Dre? Yeah, I don't know. It's like the sample size wasn't that much because you guys changed your team drastically at the trade deadline. So it was really like those 6 games. So yeah, talk about a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know what, Rich? I think ultimately in that series, I think what Anthony was able to do is his game is really face up, and he really loves going north to south. Um, his mid range all year was just below average, especially for Anthony, because that's his bread and butter. Usually that's his offensive spread. If he's feeling it from the mid range, he becomes a 3-level threat. That didn't happen much in the season. And what Memphis did was try and emphasize what everybody else did in the regular season. Anthony made adjustments. He played really, really, really physical from the mid post in. I think the big difference with the Warriors was that the Kings just took the Warriors took a lot of the Lakers. That's why we had nothing left in the Western Conference Finals. And I think the Lakers benefited a lot from the fact that the Warriors and the Warriors had to run around with that young Kings group as well. And I thought for the most part, some of the defensive schemes that the Warriors used were effective, Rich. It was just uh, Davis was able to either move out of the mid post and make sure that the offense resetted, or he held his positioning and was able to be a force down low on the boards. If he's not a force on the boards, Rich, it really affects AD's game.
Awesome. Awesome and insights. Appreciate that. Yeah. Just talking Lakers Warriors matchups. I just, at some point you just got to roll the ball out and just see what happens. And that's what I
Yeah,
think is so exciting about this season, right? You can
there's
analyze it to death. And boy, I tell you, you are demonstrating that you guys have just a wealth of knowledge over there about the Lakers. Hopefully more and more people find out about you guys because it's just tons. Like I think you know more about the Lakers than I do about the Warriors. I mean, I just sit here and listen to every interview and all that, but like shoot, some of the stuff like the top 10 deflections type of stuff, I wouldn't know it unless Steve would go on the podium and tell us, that kind of thing. So I really appreciate you having you being on here and spending all this time. It's like the more you talk, the more I can't let you go because it's just so much information. So I really appreciate that. All right, so let's try and respect your time and also get through some of the rest of this. I don't know what else is about the Lakers that we should look out for this Saturday in case the game goes sideways and it's time to kind of look at other nuances and as a basketball aficionado tune into.
absolutely, Rich. So I'm really looking forward to to Darvin Ham not employing his 3-guard lineup about 75% of the time. I think an infusion of Christian Wood, Taurean Prince, and I believe Rui. I really think that Rui's going to take the next step, playing a hybrid 3-4. I just think there's a plethora of options that the Lakers have. Injury aside, if they get lucky there, I think it portends to a good playoff run. I'm not so sure about the regular season, Rich, because I think by the way, your audience is extremely intelligent. I want to thank them for being so gracious,
Sure.
and intelligent questions. I think they hit the nail on the head. I think the Lakers would be willing to sacrifice, I think, anywhere from 3 to 7 wins in the regular season, Rich, if it meant that they were healthy going into the playoffs. But I also think the Warriors would make that trade too. Although I think the Warriors are perhaps in a better position to be a better regular season team. I also, let's not. I know they're the little team that could, but let's not forget about the Sacramento Kings either.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They won a lot of games. I expect them to win a lot of games this year. Although I will say this, and I'm sure Rich and Dean thought the same thing last year. If that's the hill you're gonna plant your flag, it's a hill you're gonna die on. I think the style of play, Rich, they play a great regular season style, but when it comes to the playoffs, I mean, the Warriors were ready for it, and I think if
Yeah.
they,
Yep.
I think they're an impact.
Barely got past them, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was just gonna say, I think a fun team, a fun regular season team. I just think they're like an impact player or two away from trying to contend.
Experience.
Yes, with Golden State and the Lakers and Denver. Absolutely.
Can't wait to see what Sasha Vezenkov's all about. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, don't forget about the Kings. I mean, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If I'm not it used to be if I'm not rooting for the Warriors, then I'm rooting for Damian Lillard with Portland. But now that thankfully he's on the East Coast now, I'd be rooting for the Kings just out of heart because Sacramento's close by. It's always a kind of a not that difficult of a drive to go up there, and whether it was covering a game or just watching the game. The Summer League was sometimes over there. They got their California Classic. It's a really nice downtown arena and everything. So I got a little bit a heart for the Kings, and back then we won't talk about it much, but the Queens, as Shaq once put, because we had Weber, right? Chris Weber went to the Kings, and there was that connection with the Warriors. So yeah,
yes,
I'm gonna be rooting for the Kings if not against the Warriors, honestly.
Well, next time I'm on, Rich, I will wear my Slam Magazine, my Two Fly T-shirt with Tim Hardaway and Latrell Sprewell as Golden State Warriors. I'll wear that next time. Just in honor of that backcourt. Though, Rich, we could go back. We could talk for hours. Although didn't win a championship. Those were some of the most fun basketball teams I've ever watched.
Yeah, exactly.
Run TMC, and then you had Spree and Tim Hardaway in the backcourt. I've got a soft spot for Don Nelson as well, Rich. He was a former Laker well before I ever came into the world. But regardless, I love Nelly. I love the way he coached. Those Warriors teams were really fun, Rich. And just as a basketball aficionado, you respect the history, and there was no team with deeper scars than the Golden State Warriors until they finally won. And just It
Right.
was wonderful for the city and the fan base, and I think the next team up with those deep scars is the Kings. So you
Right.
make a really good point there.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna let you go now. I mean, you've been so generous with your time, and I'm glad that we moved you to tonight because there wouldn't be time during the pregame or postgame of the Lakers. But still, if you want to just we'll talk about it through email. But if you're available for whatever it may be, we'll figure it out once we get there. It's only less than 48 hours. But yeah, just for like quick 5 minutes to go, oh, what did you think about, what happened tonight? Maybe we'll have you on for 10 minutes, something like that. But I love the fact that we can go so deep on the topics with you. So thank you so much. Everybody, be sure to follow Lakers Fast Break. Let's put that YouTube on right here, youtube.com, Lakers Fast Break. All those guys. Looks like somebody else from Lakers Fast Break was commenting. Whoever that was.
I think it was Gerald, Rich. Yeah,
Oh,
Gerald
yeah,
Jones to chat.
Thanks, Gerald. Oh, Dean with the little Dean knows. He's like you, man. Encyclopedia, man. He knows all these things.
Yeah, Don Nelson before Kawhi. That's a good one, Dean.
Right. All right. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks a lot,
Man.
Rich.
We shall see you Saturday, maybe. Appreciate it.
All right, man. See you later. Thanks, guys.
All right. So, man, that was pretty awesome. I mean, did you not learn a little something or two or three or seven about the Lakers that you didn't know before this? Man, that was incredible. The Kings having the most scars currently in the NBA, just like when the Warriors won the championship. It's almost like we have two horses, one and a half horses. I mean, look, we play the Sacramento Kings in a 7-game series tomorrow. I want to sweep them. No doubt. I want to sweep them. But if somehow they defeat us and keep it going, then I gotta jump on the Kings bandwagon. I got Mike Brown. They got our guy is Harrison Barnes over there. But anyways, this is a Warriors channel that will always be. So let's get back on the Warriors. Dean, do you want to come on? Let me know. Got to get you some new headphones, that's for sure. And yeah, splash the like button. Let's check how many likes we got. Refresh here. Make sure the sound is muted. We have 47 likes. Not bad. Ooh, 46 concurrents. All right. Delane was talking about coaching. I like that little quote right there. Emotional support. It's so important, especially in these days. It's a different world we're living in, and there's a lot of stuff that people have to deal with. Social media kind of makes it worse. And Steve Kerr brought that up the other day. I think 2 days ago, he mentioned how he's no longer on social media and all of that. And it's been the best thing. So thanks, Amy. Oh, we forgot to ask Magic Man who his favorite Laker player was. I wanted to put that in at the end, but then I realized, oh my gosh, we've been on for an hour. I gotta let this guy go, man. Even though he himself would just naturally stay, just like I would in reverse. It's natural. We can't help it. Like we would end up talking for 2-3 hours but the problem is after those 3 hours, then you're done with it and you realize you got all these other things to do. So we got to respect each other's times, even if it's, forceful, you gotta do a favor for them sometimes. So good to have Sean on here. I mean, I honestly had no idea Magic Man was like that. I really had no idea. He hit me up out of the blue. I didn't know he knew me from Golden State of Mind, and I didn't know that he's been keeping track of stuff that we do on here. If only there were more channels like us out there where it's not like Twitter, right? Like, let me show you something that Marcus Thompson tweeted today. Check this guy's out. Check this one out, guys. Tweets and replies. This is so telling right here. I immediately liked this one. If I can only find it. Oh, did he? Did he not? Oh no, it's on KMBR. My bad. Check this one out. KMBR. Oh, they're covering the Niners practice. So right here, turn this on.
He's been anointed by Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson. They're leaning at Steve Kerr. All the key people are saying he's one of us now. And I do think the Warrior fans in the arena are not the same as the Warrior fans on social media. So those fans I think he'll get the welcome. He'll get the.
And that's what we're trying to do here at Let's Go Warriors, to actually get real people who aren't their ugly selves on Twitter. No. We don't want those people still, because they're busy dealing with whatever else is going on in their lives, where they're in like survival mode and everything's a fight and everything's a complaint. On Twitter, wherever it may be. Instagram's not as bad. I had a talk with somebody about this just the other day, where you can't really read comments on Instagram very easily. You have to go and work for seeing the comments, whereas the replies on Twitter are just right there for everyone to see. Even on YouTube, and YouTube isn't perfect, but at least I have the ability to remove negativity the moment it shows up, or block it whenever I feel like somebody is using some words that sort of reveal that they might do that again on our channel. In that case, I just block them, and it's okay. I mean, people can still email me if they really don't want to be blocked. It's not really that big of a deal. I just want to try and keep this place safe for people like you, me, Magic Man, Dean, Amy, Dean Agon, Bruce, Delane, Judith Pierre, Brianna. I remember Brianna. I talked to her recently. She might be at the game Saturday. So appreciate you all. Speaking of which, a week and a half ago, I couldn't be on the Lakers Fast Break podcast 2 weeks ago because I was out of town, and I was out of town for like, we'll call it a retreat. It was awesome. Awesome. See, you guys are talking about the Pistons out there. Luckily, we don't really have to worry about them too much. They're still in development phase. Wiseman may become available. I don't know. Don't know. We'll talk about Wiseman when we play the Pistons. You had Taco Bell at 5 a.m. Wow. Careful with, I don't know what they put in those tacos, man. So just be careful with that. Amy, always putting comments that are so make me look good. So I definitely have to screenshot that. I also want to screenshot this by making this bigger. So let's just, I don't know. Do I ever do anything with these screenshots? Usually I don't, because something else comes up. But I love the fact that what we're trying to build here is a social media platform where it's just like being in an arena. I mean, we're technically taking the stance of, let's make you the 18th is it 8? No, 19th. This year is the 19th player on the bench because we have 3 two-ways this year. And let's throw this back. Oh, just as I'm leaving, Chris Duarte's on the Kings. Don't forget that. And JaVale. Oh, man. I saw some Kings beat writers put the JaVale interview from yesterday on, and that was great, man. JaVale, he's a great interview. It's great to hear his voice again. Klay at the 4 will be interesting. Yeah, forgot to mention that. So a couple things I forgot to do. Forgot to ask Sean who his favorite player is, per Amy. And forgot to ask him what he thinks about Klay playing the 4 on, at least on defense. So let's talk about that. I think Klay will do fine. You know, it makes me want to look up. It makes me want to look up our old videos where I have Klay posting up Chris DeMarco, who is a big man, you know, big man in real life, you know, 6'7", 250 or something, 240, I would guess. He was Shaq in my men's rec league. Chris DeMarco played in the men's rec league that I ran. So he was Shaq in Dream League, the men's rec league that I ran from 2002 until the pandemic. So 2002 to 20. I ran that league for 19 years, 18 plus inclusive 1, 19 years. Yeah, Klay will, I guess Klay will guard LeBron. Yeah, it's one of those where I think just roll the ball out there and let's see what happens because this is so fun. All right. Why do people feel Wise won't make it? I don't know. Because they're having a bad day and they want to spread their bad day. I don't know. Oh, thanks, man. I would love to join any podcast. How about let's do a mail-in campaign to Draymond. Have me on there. just kidding. Let's see what else we got. Pistons have too many centers. Oh yeah, they do have a lot. If you follow, so for Pistons news. FYI, I actually have, I think his name is James Edwards III and Omari Sankofa on tweet alerts because they're that good. They're just good. So check that out. Omari and Edwards, or Sankofa and Edwards. Yeah, Taco Bell at 5. Although I used to do that when I was a young kid. I used to do that. But, you know, we could eat anything back in the day. I used to go to McDonald's. Like, in Emeryville, there's a McDonald's nearby. I used to go to McDonald's all the time, like chicken nuggets. Oh, God. I mean, but back then our bodies could digest anything, you know. You get a little older, it stops digesting that stuff, and it tells you, all right, I've had enough, man. Rich, no more fried stuff. So I honestly, I can't eat fried stuff. I really can't. I can't digest it. So just a little health tip from me to you. Bench players interviews. Yeah, throughout the years. Yeah, bench players interviews. I mean, we're going to have as many interviews as possible. Be sure to talk to Sean on Saturday. Yeah, we got to figure out your headphones problem, Dean, within 48 hours. Sheesh. Oh yeah, if Klay struggles, you know, in terms of the if Klay struggles context, now that Dean tells us that he's not able to come on board without the headphones giving feedback, but on the if Klay struggles, one thing that I said on the Lakers Fast Break podcast last week was that if we were to repeat Klay's Game 6 in LA, Steve would simply sub Chris Paul in for Klay, who was having a bad game. Right? So that's kind of one of the pluses of having Chris Paul around is got instant backup for Klay in a pinch. What else? Oh, reunion game, Phoenix. Yeah. So we should do a giveaway. Thanks for bringing that up, Gago. So Gago in the comments, I'm writing this in the description. So if you want to check the description in like 2 minutes after I hit save, you'll see it. It says he or she can't wait for PHX-GSW on opening night. Gives me the idea that we will do a giveaway of remaining cupcake hats. I think I have one right out here. Oh, well, I don't see it on my table. I could have sworn I saw it. But anyways, yeah, I'm trying to think. Where did I put it? Cupcake hat. I don't know. But yeah, remember the cupcake hats that KD made for the parade? We have a few of those left over from freaking 4.5 years ago, or was it 5 years ago? So let's do a giveaway on opening night. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Oh, thanks, man. No, I'm buying those headphones, bro. No, you're not buying anything. I got Amazon Prime, buddy. I'm going to take care of that for you. Oh, speaking of which, so he's on Twitch, Arbel, but I'll put it everywhere. I'll just put an at that doesn't actually work. Please wait for me to update our LGW affiliate link for Warriors Shop. And I should have, I'm the worst marketer known to mankind. So I'm an engineer by heart. I'm not a marketing guy. So I'm always terrible at these affiliate links and all that. That's why YouTube is like a godsend for me. Arbel says he can't wait for New Jersey's. Please wait for me to, wait, definitely wait. I know he can't wait, but wait. No, I mean, I got to do that like right after I log off is update the affiliate link. I mean, the old one might still work. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a year. I didn't do anything. That's why I love YouTube, how they just insert ads for you because I don't have to worry about that, KD. Yeah. So we'll see you in 48 hours. All right, guys. Been on for an hour and 23 minutes. So it's time for next live. The next live comment post. Saturday, October 7th. I think it's an early game. It's an early meeting. Yo, Sean, if you're still on this chat, my boy Mark just texted me, said he got on. So I think you've just earned a loyal follower, Sean. Mark is my guy. And Mark, if you're watching this, dude, Sean is awesome. It's like talking to you, Mark, quite honestly. But did you know, Mark, that Gabe Vincent is top 10 deflections? I mean, sheesh. I'll bet you Mark does know that. So Mark and Sean you guys got to get together. Although Mark lives in San Diego. I was in San Diego just for a couple days to visit family. Didn't have time to do much else. But next time I'm going to carve out extra time, maybe an extra day, just to see my boy Mark. And so the game in 2 nights is at 5:30. So why don't we go live at 5 p.m.? I don't know. I can't remember how we did it. LAL-GSW, boom. Can't wait for Saturday. Neither can I. Boom. And so it's time to say, just us 1, 2, 3.
Don't get away with athleticism.
Yeah, we'll wait a little bit because Steph always does that at the end. And in fact, I have a better just us 1, 2, 3. I'm just too lazy to pull it up. But we'll do a just us 1, 2, 3 right here. So everybody, just us 1, 2, 3 coming up real soon. And we'll see you in 45 hours or less. 44 hours. Ooh. We'll see you in 44 hours.
Right? I'm telling y'all put in a lot of hard work, a lot of time into your craft.
Put in your hard work,
whatever
whatever you're doing.
Challenge only gets harder.
Your craft,
You gotta meet that level.
your passion,
It's all those little details, being able to talk to each other.
those
have fun,
details.
right?
Collaborate,
Not just
talk to
relying on
each
the
other.
athleticism every time you step on the floor. That's what we do, right? Keep talking to each other. Keep pointing that stuff out. You know what I'm
Let's
saying? Keep
talk
holding
to each
yourself
other
high
here
standard.
on the live chat. Hurry up, Steph.
That's
Say
why we
it.
get better. That's why we're here, right? Yes, sir. Go ahead again tomorrow. Just us on 3.
Just us.
Oh,
Just us on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Just us.